Hello there, GMC. Welcome to update number 5, where I attempt to learn to play this country crazy solo. Okay, so I'll be trying at 90% of the original speed now, and you're gonna have to wish me luck as usual. Well, that's tricky. So I've reached the point where I'm kind of becoming my own worst enemy here, because as expected, it's getting a lot harder for me now to notice progress, because I'm sort of approaching that top end where I not only, it's a fast solo, but it's also really critical for me because I'm not that experienced at playing country music. So, but yeah, some of the challenges I'm noticing here, I'm sort of noticing that there are a lot of fast bends going on here, and they're like faster than I'm used to, in the sense that, you have to bend and then go back, and that's tricky. So I found that I'm using a little bit too much of my hand when bending. That's never a good idea. If you've read any of my rec student feedback, you notice that I often mention, to use the arm when doing vibrato and not the hand and finger muscles. So I need to apply that on my own playing as well, because I noticed that the bends are not really sounding well and I'm getting tired. So I really have to get working on my doing that with the arm, and that seems to help me. And also, I'm facing this kind of tricky challenge to both use more of my arm here when picking and doing the that kind of thing, and just anything. I need to get more like a machine here with my arm in order to reach the higher tempos. But at the same time, I also need to make sure I'm not tensing up, and that's hard because typically when you use your whole arm, you are a bit more tensed up. So I'm trying to walk that fine line, and probably what it goes down to is that I need to be using both the wrist movement and the even joint movement here and the arm movement. And I need to be relaxed in order to control this movement, and I need to apply some amount of pressure in order to use this movement. So it's like, I'm working on being relaxed here, and I'm working on doing this, which is not very relaxed. So that's my challenge. But the biggest challenge is really to keep it up now, because it's easy at this point, for me at least, to try to, or to get a bit discouraged and move on, because basically I get bored by playing the same thing over and over. So that's why I'm allowing myself to sort of push speed a little bit, because that makes it a little bit more interesting. However, I'm also a bit worried that if I push speed too much, I'm gonna consolidate bad habits into my playing. And again, that's something I always recommend people to be super careful with, because whenever you see a YouTube guitarist and it sounds like crap, it usually means they've been pushing speed and they're tensed up. So that's really one of your biggest enemies here. So I'm, again, walking that fine balance of trying to stimulate myself to keep practicing this. And in order to do that, I kind of need to push speed, because it's not an improvised solo. And when it's not improvised, I tend to get bored, but it's intriguing because it's a new genre and it's a challenge. But it's also, I need something a little bit extra here. So I'm trying to push speed a little bit more than I would typically do. And then I need to be super careful not to get any bad habits. So trying to think of all the stuff I usually speak to you guys about being relaxed and posture and whatnot. So typically my practicing now would be to warm up and then try to play at a pretty high tempo, like 90%, like I did now. And then take a break and do a little bit of maybe slow. Or just... yeah, so, and I don't know, I think this is one of the hardest things to me to get down clean. And also, it seems when I've tried to play it at the original tempo, it seems I tense up pretty fast. I'm able to play along a little bit, but then I tense up. So that's going to be a super challenge as well. So yeah, as always, please give me some feedback here. What do you think I'm doing wrong? What should I be doing differently? And yeah, maybe you're struggling with some of these licks. How is that working out for you? Anything is of interest now. Okay, have a good one. See you soon. Cheers.